Hi everyone and welcome back. Mindy Egan here with you today, and I am sharing a very cheerful and bright card featuring the Tweet Friends stamp set. This is designed by Stacy Yakula for My Favorite Things, and be sure to stay tuned because I have some information for a giveaway. I'm going to start off by coloring up a couple of the images off of the Tweet Friends stamp set. I stamped them all out because I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to be using, and then as I designed the card, I figured out I just needed two birds, so that is what I'm going to show you today. I did speed up the coloring quite a bit as there is a lot to get through, and I didn't want to have you sitting here for too long with the video. So to start off with, this is Neenah Solar White cardstock, 80 pound, that I am coloring on. I used the My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink to stamp my images since that is a Copic friendly ink and my ink will not bleed, as long as I don't add too much color, I should say, because I do tend to be heavy handed. So I listed the colors up on the top. I'm starting off with B18 is the darkest color, then B16, B02, and B01. And I really love the vibrancy that this gives. I really like how I have the B18 and 16 are the really dark colors, and then the B02 and B01 really add a vibrancy and almost kind of like an electric blue color to this little bluebird. So I just added some shading to the back of the head and underneath each feather, and I blended out with all of those colors. I did that for both sides of the wings and a little bit on the back side of the bird and then on the tail. And I do color my images twice just to make sure I have a really smooth blend and I can really get some depth with my coloring. For the face and the belly, I experimented a little bit and I ended up going with W2, W0, and 000. I didn't want it to look like a dirty gray. I just wanted a little bit of shading, so I didn't go out too far. And then I did R20 for some little cute rosy cheeks. And for the beak, I did YR18 and YR12. Now for my second bird, there isn't a lot of room to color on here, and I did decide to go with a really bright yellow bird. I started off with Y19, Y15, and Y06, and then as I was blending my colors through, I decided to bring in a YR24 just to give that a little bit more depth on the side and really kind of give that distinction of a shadow area versus the highlight area. So I added that in on the sides of the head and then just a little bit on the sides and blended that out. I used the same colors for the belly and the face as I did on my first bird, so the W2, W0, and 000. I also did the R20 for some cheeks. For the flower, I just did some real quick colors here. This is R20, R21, and R24, I believe it was. And then the YR18 and YR12 for the beak. And you can see I just did a little bit of shading with the W's on the side of the face and a little bit on the outsides of the belly just to show that there is a distinction. To create my background, I'm going to start off with some Bristol Smooth cardstock, which is really great for ink blending. And I'm starting off with antique linen. So I'm trying to create one layer for this panel. So I'll be doing a lot of ink blending here. I'm doing spun sugar next, which is a really light pink. So I did have to work that a little bit to make sure it blended well with the antique linen. And then it came in with a little bit darker of a shade, which is the worn lipstick. And I just went around the top, brought that in a little bit to the spun sugar, and then brought my blending tools back in and just blended that out. Now I'm going to come in with the Radiating Rays stencil, and this is one of my favorite stencils for My Favorite Things. I'm going to adhere this panel to my stencil, and I noticed it wasn't quite centered, so I just removed that quick and reattached that. And then I'm going to come back in with my blending tools with the same colors, and I'm just kind of twisting. I didn't want to rub too hard and risk moving my rays. And I wanted to have these rays showing up in the background. Once I had actually reapplied all of the same colors and I removed the stencil, I kind of noticed it wasn't as distinct as I had wanted it to be. So I'm going to reattach that stencil, and I'm just going to line up those rays as best as I can. attach that back, and I'm just going to go back over the entire thing lightly with worn lipstick. And this really gave the rays, this really made them pop out, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Next, I'm going to use the Grassy Edges stencil, and like I said, I wanted to keep this panel one layer, so when I do my die cutting, I'm not going through multiple layers. The Grassy Edges stencil is perfect for this, so I'm just attaching that to the bottom portion of my card, and I did put a little bit of that purple tape off on the side just so I didn't get any of the green distress ink up there. So I start off with Cracked Pistachio, which is just a really nice light green. It's kind of giving me a base layer. And then coming in with Mowed Lawn, which I think is one of my favorite greens. And I'm going through the top of that, which is going to show like a grassy background. So this came out super perfect, one layer. The green really blended with that antique linen. It didn't show any lines in there. Next, I'm using the Double the Smiles word die. And this is one of them out of here. This is the big bold letters. So I just attached that to the middle of my panel with some Post-it tape and ran that through my die cut machine, and then it cut all of these out. Now you could use the negatives of them. You could use that for another card if you want. I decided not to. I really liked the white showing through in the background. What my idea is for this is that I wanted to have my birds and some of my other elements kind of look like they're behind it. So I'm going to attach this right to an A2 size panel, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just kind of attaching those little pieces between the letters with some tacky glue. I'm not worried if the glue seeps out because I'm attaching these letters anyway. I die cut Smile 2 more times out of white cardstock. The reason I'm doing this is so that it's all one layer. I don't have to worry about my bird maybe kind of bumped up a little bit because of the layers giving that dimension. And then I can bring in my bird and my other elements and start adding these to the card. And once I'm happy with placement, I'm going to start attaching the rest of the layers. So I have 2 more layers of the word Smile to attach, and I'm just going to do this with some liquid glue. And this is going to be really cute. It's going to look like these are all, the word Smile is in front of everything. So while I'm finishing this up, I'll tell you about a little giveaway I have going on. Thank you to My Favorite Things for sponsoring this video with a $25 gift certificate to their store. In order to be eligible for that giveaway, you need to subscribe to my channel and to the My Favorite Things YouTube channel, and I will have that link provided down below. Be sure to comment and let me know if you are already a subscriber or if you have subscribed to the channels. And that due date is going to be December 26th. Since we have Christmas in there, I know it's going to get kind of crazy and hectic, so you have till December 26th. 2018 to leave a comment at midnight Central Time, and then the giveaway will close and I will announce a winner on my blog on December 28th. So be sure to also click the link to my blog. You can sign up for my newsletters there to be sure to be notified if you're a winner or not, and then I will get in contact with you and get the information for that. So be sure to check that out. There are some great things over at My Favorite Things. This is part of the mid-month release that they have, so you could pick this set up. The sentiment is also part of that stamp set that I heat embossed with white and attached it down in the corner there with some foam squares. And for a little bit of shimmer, I'm just taking my Nouveau Shimmer pen and adding that on top of the letters. So I really hope you enjoyed this card and that you really enjoy this design that I created with the card, and maybe it'll inspire you to create. I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you to My Favorite Things for giving me this chance to play with this stamp set and sponsoring this video. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.